So when I was a kid, I played football, like organized football, Floral Park Indians. I probably played for grade school, up until 8th grade, probably maybe 6 years. I was an offensive lineman, and it's not a very glamorous position. You don't score touchdowns. You don't sack quarterbacks. What is that? Yeah, man. Wow, yeah. So, anyway. So the offensive line. You don't get the game ball. Offensive linemen never get voted MVP. Your job is to protect the quarterback. It's protection that lets the quarterback and running backs shine. So there's not a lot of glory in being a lineman. And we all kind of knew that. Everybody wants to be running with the ball and sacking quarterbacks. At any rate, my last year, I was in 8th grade, and we had a pretty good team that year. It was this particular game that it was sort of like a must-win game in order to keep the season going. Playoffs, we had to win this game, and it was a big win. We won it. It was come from behind. We won it in the final seconds. It was pretty exciting. We were 13. It wasn't, but for us, it was a big deal. And I remember after the game, we gathered as a team, and then we were everything was over. And the coach says to the linemen, "Hey guys, I need the offensive line to stay," which he had never done before. Once the game was over and we were done, and we all thought we were in trouble for something. So everybody left, and we stayed, and we all took a knee, and he told us how proud he was of us, the linemen. And he said, you guys get no glory, something to this effect. He said, you guys get no glory, but you make it happen. He said, if it wasn't for us in that game in particular, he said the season would have ended that night. He said, we were the protectors. We protected the guys who scored touchdowns. Anyway, that's a long time ago. And it's funny the things that you remember when you're a kid. Like that coach's instinct, it seems to me. He was so thoughtful. He was so thoughtful. We were flying high after that. We were so proud to be part of the line. Anyway, this whole idea of not living in the spotlight, or not needing to live in the spotlight, but being so essential. Like these two almost kind of opposite things, like I'm not front and center, don't need to be front and center, but we need you. Like that's kind of what he said to us. And something about that reminds me of Ray. I've been thinking about him, as you all have, the last couple of days. And I kind of kept going back to that, what that coach said to us. that coach's thoughtfulness, Ray's thoughtfulness, Ray's kindness. Everybody said it. I mean, I talked to his friends, I talked to his siblings, I talked to his nephews and nieces, people in town. Everybody talked about his kindness, like thoughtful kind of spirit, and his total dedication to everything. Like whatever he was signed on for, he was there. And he didn't need to be scoring touchdowns. He didn't need game balls. Somebody told me, one of the nephews or nieces, I forget, last night said, yeah, like I guess a couple of you guys were you were doing tunnels to towers, the run with him, and then I guess as you kind of came out of the tunnel, or maybe it was the conclusion of the run, like he kind of stopped you guys and said, hey, like look at those families. I guess they'd be the families of the fallen. Look at those pictures, maybe, these firefighters. And he was like, this isn't about a run. Like, this is about them, what they did and who they were. Like that kind of awareness, thoughtfulness. You know, I've been in Long Beach for 11 years now. Probably about 7 or 8 years ago, I started getting in the mail these Bruce Springsteen CDs. They were concerts, kind of like bootlegs. They were Bruce recorded concerts. And it always came mailed to me the same way. It was a regular envelope, but it was always it was like in a note card, and there was always a nice picture. It was always a picture, like a photo, I guess that was almost like attached to the front of the note card. It was always a Long Beach scene. It was always some scene on the beach. And inside would be a CD or two. And there would always be a little note, a couple of sentences, usually like a reference to like a particular song. And there's a giant concert, like check out. And a lot of times it would be a reference to something I had said at Mass. Like the sentiment was always so thoughtful. And I'd get these 2 or 3 times a year. And it was just signed Ray. There was no last name. There was no return address. And I was like, who is this guy, Ray? Like, for years, I was getting these, and I was loving it, because oh man, I got another concert. And then one Sunday, maybe 3 years ago, after Mass, I guess I must have mentioned something about Springsteen up here in the pulpit. And he comes up to me after Mass, and he thanked me for what I said. And I looked at him, and we looked at each other for a second, and then I said to him, "Are you Ray?" And he smiled, and he just said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Thank you so much for all these CDs. I haven't known who to thank, and I've loved them." And the crazy thing was, I know you. Like, he was always here. We're at St. Mary's. Like, he was always. I was like, I knew you without knowing you all these years, and he was just always like, he kind of had this just kind of humble, gentle, kind of shy smile. You know, and that was it. It was always there and never needed the spotlight. So I think we should be challenged by Ray Ellmer's life. I mean, we should always be challenged by great lives. They're like walking clinics. This is how you should do it. This is how we should be. You know, we're told when we're kids how to be, what to do, what not to do, and that's important. And we come to church and we hear the same thing, and that's important. Teachers and coaches do the same thing. But I think it's most compelling when you're just a witness, when you just watch somebody who just did it right. The life they were given, they did so much with it. His faith, his sense of community, you guys, the protectors, the rescuers on the beach, this community, Long Beach, family. I'm always personally kind of intrigued when I have a funeral for a person who never had kids, never married, never had kids, because that's me. And I'm always curious about the aunt-uncle question. Was he a good uncle? Was she a good aunt? What was their relationship like with nephews and nieces? Man, what you guys said about him, like your connection to him, kind of like personal relationship with him, time spent with him, never missed the things that you shouldn't miss, events and dates, what's going on in your life. I'm always challenged because I think, man, I got 7 nephews and nieces. No, I got 10 actually. Got 10 of them. I'm not doing a good job. I ought to be. But like I'm always kind of like, I could be a better uncle. And maybe be challenged by this. For me, that's kind of personal. The whole no kid thing. How Ray responded to adversity. His resiliency. The grace and the dignity with which he responded to sadness over the course of his life. I mean, shouldn't notes be taken? We don't get defeated. We stay in the fight. We don't give up. You just love more. You serve more. You protect and rescue more. And I just think those things just push back and conquer sadness and adversity. The last CD I got was from this most recent Springsteen tour. It was actually a recording of a show that I was at. It was at Belmont, at the UBS Arena. It was last Easter Sunday. I know it was Easter Sunday. I'm a priest. How could I go to a concert? I know, but I couldn't help myself. I got tickets. At any rate, on this last tour, he's been finishing every concert. They go on forever, multiple encores, but he's been finishing each concert with the same song. And it's not one of the famous ones, not one of the greatest hits. In fact, it's a recent song, so his maybe 3 years ago. And it's called "I'll See You in My Dreams." And again, this is what he's finishing each show with. So just listen to a little bit of this. The road is long and seeming without end. The days gone on, I remember you, my friend. And though you're gone and my heart's been emptied, it seems, I'll see you in my dreams. I'll see you in my dreams when all our summers come to an end. I'll see you in my dreams. We'll meet and live and laugh again. I'll see you in my dreams. Yes, up around the river bend, for death is not the end. And though my soul feels like it has been split at the seams, I'll see you in my dreams. Well, at the risk of contradicting Bruce, we'll more than see Ray in our dreams. If what we celebrated last Sunday, resurrection, if that's true, and he knew it was, we'll see you again, Ray, because we'll be with you. If we live our lives like he lived his great life.